tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Agajanian Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. In the studio, waiting to be profiled, is Kenny Kingston, the psychic, and Deborah Pearl. Deborah Pearl was born in Trenton, New Jersey, and raised in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. She graduated cum laude from Barnard College and went into a career of multi-hyphenates. She was a playwright, TV writer, TV producer, a singer, and an actress. Deborah, your upbringing seems to be very conservative. How could you star in a musical called Chick Singers?
Oh, you know, I mean, anything that's politically correct, we have to take a shot there. You know?
How did you get that title?
Well, I was one for a lot of years.
A chick singer?
I was a chick singer for a lot of years. And it's funny because some women have said, oh, how can you use that name? And, you know, the fact of the matter is I'm trying to be as honest to the nature of the piece. And, you know, the guys would call him, you know, where's the chick singer? The chick singer here yet? You know.
Oh, so
and it's a parlance. I mean, it's you know, kind of how one is referred to.
Before you started this musical, which is at the Cinegrill, and has it been in the theater? Has it been on stage other than in a
We did
venue?
some of it out at the Interact Theater Company for the NoHo Festival. For the opening of the subway here in LA. Just a few weeks ago. And it works great in a theater. The Cinegrill is a wonderful venue for it because it's sort of cabaret meets theater. And it's so neat to do the performance parts of it where I'm actually standing in exactly the place where I would be if I were in fact that singer singing.
What did you do that led up to this? Let's talk about what led into this. What things have you written? What plays have you acted in? And then we'll get into how many chick singers you've been.
Okay. This is the life in a nutshell sort of section. Okay. Well, when I was 4, I used to dress up in my mother's evening gowns and lip sync to Della Reese albums.
Oh, that
and
was
I remember, and
good taste.
Yeah. Before she was an angel, you know, she's a wonderful singer. And you know, the brassiere cups were like down by my knees, and little spaghetti straps, you know, these long gowns, and I was sort of, you know, it's so funny because when I grew up and became a professional singer, I sort of remembered that I was doing the very thing that I had dreamed of as a little girl. And in fact, in the show, I do this song, Give Me the Simple Life. You know, I don't believe in fretting or grieving, why mess around with strife? And I do a section of that song in the studio, and then it goes into, but that's the very same record that when I was 4 I was doing.
But am I wrong that you had this pretty conservative, I mean, Bucks County is pretty conservative, Barnard College is conservative.
Deceptively maybe. I mean, I'm sort of a middle-class Jewish background, and you know, very keen in the arts. My sister was a she concertized as a teenager. She was sort of a, you know, musical prodigy as a child. Like
Carly Simon and her sister.
Yeah.
The Simon sisters. The Pearl sisters.
Yeah, so we actually did an album together, my sister and I, called Pearl.
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, we worked together. But she went on to sort of write songs. In fact, she wrote the Folgers jingle.
But what kind of songs did you do together? If she was
she wrote them. She wrote them sort of light pop kind of.
She did.
Kind of, yeah.
So she came out of the.
She came out of the classical world and went into pop.
Is she in both worlds, or?
She's now she lives in New York and she still writes songs, and you know, the Folgers ad is still playing. Thank you, God.
How does the music go?
The best part of waking up, you know.
Oh, she wrote that?
She wrote that. In fact, one of the characters in the show. May I digress?
Please. Oh, yes.
I haven't bought my little bag.
Oh, you have one of the characters in your show, the chick singers.
This is, you know, sometimes we need a little prop to help us. But there is one section where this is Miriam Wells, the opera singer, and we meet her at this point in the studio, and she is recording something.
Is this your sister?
No. And so she begins, yes, get on with it, young man. I am singing La Traviata tonight at the Met. I am lunching with Rudy Bing, and I am being interviewed by Opera News. So veet. Though if you must know, this headphone mix is abysmal. Kindly lower the bass and drums, make the piano slightly hotter than the guitar, and take the violins out completely. They are desperately out of tune. And don't bullshit me that they're not. I have perfect pitch. Oh, and do not limit my voice. Limiting makes coloratura sound like screaming rats.
So, this is
Yes.
one of your people.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Oh, it's actually your first
That's
character.
my first character. Yes, indeed.
And
She
so
is-
let's go. Since you started with your characters, who
Yes,
else
let's
is in
see.
here?
Let's see. I have Frankie Olin, who is a country singer.
Okay, we
And
have.
she is. I don't know if she's.
They're
up
all
next.
girls, huh?
What a-
Chicks. Chicks.
I can bend, but I don't know. Let's see. She's Frankie Olin. I sing at the Horseshoe Lounge in Sunny Lost Wages. That's a joke. We hope will bring y'all some luck. And she sings. She does a song called "I Fall to Pieces."
So do you have to have someone directing you when you're on stage, or you've written all this? You've written all these people.
Yes, and you absolutely need someone directing you.
Why
I
do
mean-
you, when you're the one who's created it, you're singing the songs, you know what you want?
You know, one person show is such a misnomer. It takes, as I say in the show, it took a village.
To make your one-person
Oh,
show.
I mean, the number of talented friends of mine who have helped participate. I mean, I have tracks of recorded music and so many things that it has
Oh,
taken.
you mean that go into
that
it?
go into the show, and the director, who's Clifford Bell, who wonderful. I mean, he is actually nicknamed Lawrence of Cabarabia.
So that was a
he's-
perfect one to have.
Perfect match, and we met, and it was working on another friend's show, and it just sort of became.
So what
thing
does
to
he
do.
do? I mean, since you know the whole concept and you've got it all together, what does a director tell you to do?
Well, I mean, a director will help you shape it. They'll say, help you block it. I mean, I can't be in the audience seeing what it looks like,
I
and
see,
you need
right.
another set of eyes.
You do.
Telling you, it'll be stronger if you go over there, and maybe we should put this here and move that there, and so
That's what he does?
Yeah, and also, says it's gonna be all right, sweetheart.
Oh, you need that.
I gotta tell you, when
Who
you're
does
doing
he
it all
say
yourself.
that? Who does he say that the most to? Which chick singer does he say that's going to be all right to?
It's so funny. They're all, the thing about women singers is we're all intrepid in our art form, and that's what the show is about. It is about, it doesn't matter what kind of music it is, and it really doesn't matter what you do in life that is your music. But it's, people walk into a place and they see a woman singing in a lounge, and they look at her and I want them to look and go, that's a person.
But they
She's got a
don't. You're
life.
right. They listen, they walk, they see an image.
That's right.
But you've created images just by changing do you change your clothes?
No, just, I have some jackets,
But
fur piece of
basically-
things. Yeah, it's basically very simple props.
What else
and
do you have
sort
in
of-
your bag?
Oh, what else do I have in my bag? Let's see. Well,
Her magic bag. Oh,
let's see.
there. That's the
This
magic.
is Nathalie Frachet. She is a blues. I am from France. I used to dance in the Lido de Paris, but I came here because I love the blues, like life itself. I love the blues.
So did you have to have a voice coach for something like this?
No, I sing. I got the right to sing the blues.
I see. So you don't need a coach.
Oh no. Why would one need? I do a number from the Lido with a huge headdress. It's
Oh, you
wider
do?
than my arm.
Really?
And it's very funny because you hear me say, oh merde, headdress is killing me. How can feathers weigh so much?
So that's great.
Yeah, it's really a lot of
So
fun.
you just keep changing. It just one goes into the other, goes into the other.
Yeah,
That's
and
so
it's
good.
a lot of fun. And there's a woman who's a Broadway singer, and she's always sort of ignoring her daughter, and not the mother of the year.
Did you use any people that you knew as your role?
Oh, well, I'll remain silent on that one. So many people to choose from.
Yes.
It's tough to. I mean, it's like a mistress, a lover. I mean, your art becomes so consuming. I don't.
You like, obviously, acting and singing together. How do you
Yes.
feel if you've written something and someone else is acting your lines?
Oh my goodness! Well, it's so interesting that as a playwright, you're always going through wanting actors to bring to life what was in your head, and it's
Yeah.
really weird when you're the one that's pissing you off.
But with your words,
It's like, come on now, get on with it, gal. It's and it's interesting and challenging. Hence the real necessity for collaboration with the director.
the playwright.
Oh,
You feel
absolutely.
that's really necessary?
But I go through different reactions. I mean, my reaction as a writer is one thing, and then my reaction as the performer. Because as we change things, you want to get the text right, but then I have to actually accomplish the text, which is a whole other set of facts.
Then what about just straight acting? Do you do that?
I did that when I was first starting out for about 10 minutes, and now, after all this, I think it's fun. I mean, I would do that. I would sit in an office with 10 other people who look like me and go in and have a fun
Would you do
auditioning.
that?
But back then, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I'm sure they want her. It was not.
Not
I mean,
what you wanted.
I have great regard for actors. What they go through, it's a tremendous, tremendous thing.
Did you take singing lessons?
Yeah, I did. I took.
Is
singing
it is the
lessons.
rest of your family musical? I mean, your sister's
Yeah, my
musical.
sister's musical, and my father has wonderful taste in music. And when I was a child, we used to. He listened to Stan Kenton. He listened to opera. He listened to and he listened to the jazz records, the Dellarys, the Dakota Statons. He had Jobim, Antonio Carlos Jobim,
right,
and so it was a
beautiful.
nice mixture of just really good music.
So you listened to that,
I used to listen to those albums all the time.
but
as
he
did.
wasn't a musician. Or,
No, just very, very gifted and.
It's amazing.
Brilliant man.
Two girls, though, could have that same kind
Yeah.
of quality.
And my-
genes.
Yes, it's true. And my brother is a poet. My brother writes poetry. He's a businessman in Florida, but he is a poet. It's so funny because sometimes you go to art to escape
I
things,
know.
and I guess we had some issues we were trying to deal with.
Could you go on Broadway and do a musical? I mean, could you see yourself doing a whole thing other than something you've written?
Oh yeah, I think that would be fun. So much easier than having to. Actually, I'm writing a musical.
Oh, are you?
I'm writing a musical called At the Bistro Garden, with my dear friend, very talented David E. Cole, and it's at the Bistro Garden. It's about 3 women who lunch at the Bistro Garden, and it's a 4-woman musical. These 3 women
So
and
the
1
Bistro
daughter.
Garden was a very fancy
Yes.
Beverly Hills
Yes.
restaurant.
Yes.
And so you remember what went on there all the time?
Yeah, it's about their relationships. It's about these 3 women.
And you
it's
put it
very
in
fun.
that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
One thing before we go, I know you started something called the National Enquirer.
Yes.
What is the Enquirer?
Yes, many Inquire. Yes, many years ago, my friend Rosemary Butler, who's a magnificent singer herself and sang backup for lots of wonderful people, James Taylor, Linda Ronstadt. We started singing with friends and started going Christmas time to hospitals and homes, and we do the annual Ronald McDonald Christmas party. We do the Actors Home. We go to Juvenile Hall and sing for the
You
kids
still
in prison.
do?
Oh yeah, we've been doing it for many
I thought this
years.
was something of the past.
No, every year, and we have a pool of volunteer singers. Sometimes the top session singers come with us, and we go every year. We have 1 rehearsal. It's fabulous. In fact, many singers,
Come
find
along.
us, come along. It's a wonderful thing we do.
Oh, that's so great. And what a nice way to...
But that, it's to give back, absolutely.
Really?
But that's what chick singers, women singers have a lot of heart. We get out there and sort of pour our hearts out
And pull it all together. You bring everyone into it.
And all of these women are some aspect of me. Clearly, that's true for any
Right,
writer.
right.
And they, it covers, all aspects of the. If you sing, this show is for you. If you enjoy people singing, this show is for you.
Oh, it sounds terrific.
It's such great fun.
It's so great.
It's such great
And I'm so
fun.
glad you were here today.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. Thank
We'll
you.
see you at the Cinegrill.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't go away because we'll be right back with Kenny Kingston. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back. I'm in the studio with legendary celebrity clairvoyant Kenny Kingston, who's been psychic all his life. Kenny's written 3 books. He's appeared on numerous TV shows. He's done a sprinkling of movies, and he's been on regional and network television and radio in shows across the U.S., Canada, and Australia. You were meant to be a psychic. How did that happen?
Yeah, but before I answer that question, I'm international. I just did the big breakfast in London.
International.
International, of course.
Well, we didn't
You got an
add that.
international psychic here with all his spirits.
And I'm
All
so
his-
glad.
And I'm glad to see you.
You brought all the spirits in.
Of course I did.
The last time I talked to you, I was in Boston, and you said the spirits are in Boston with you.
I know.
So tell me, how did that happen? How does a psychic become a psychic?
Well, all right. I'm just starting right now my 8th year of my psychic hotline. There are 250 to 300 psychics on those lines, which we very carefully screened, very, very carefully. All right, how did I get started? It was very much like the little boy in The Sixth Sense, who said, "I talk, I hear dead people." Now, I never use the word DEAD because no one dies. No one dies.
Right.
None. There's a new dimension that we go over to, and we talk to them. And I promise you one thing, that anybody watching this show today, tonight, anytime, because this show is going to be so good, it's going to be shown at least 4 times in 1 year.
Oh,
but
yes.
anyway, we're going to get going. A psychic, too many psychics today are not mediums, really. A medium talks to the other side. Like before I came here, I do private consultations all the time. And I hold my seances at home in Studio City in my home. The little boy said he was afraid when he talked to spirits. I was never afraid.
But that's why, but you were with your mother and your grandmother,
I
so
offer
you
the-
wouldn't be afraid.
Right, darling. And my mother passed away 16 years ago tomorrow. That makes a 7, doesn't it? 1 plus 6 makes a 7. And let me tell you something. The number on my call sheet with you is 0160.
Oh,
which
that's
means
right.
That's a 7.
That's
so
right.
She's here with us.
Exactly. You're
here
on
with us.
show. Yes.
She's here with us.
And the other thing, though, as you said, she's the 7th
Seventh
child.
daughter of the 7th daughter. But then I learned, see, from my grandmother, Catherine Walsh Clark, I learned tea leaf readings when I was 4.
That's what I wanted to know. How did she teach you that?
Just sat there, being Irish, just sat there. I mean, you're Quinn, please. She just sat there and taught me tea leaf reading. It was easy. I was a precocious child. Then came my darling mother, Catherine K. Kingston. She taught me what I do in the nightclubs or on the lecture platform. Psychometry, touching your jewelry. Now, when I was 8, Mae West taught me what I do on radio or television, listening to the sound of a voice. All the shows throughout the world, I listen to a voice, pick up the vibration.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because there's all different kinds of phenomena, what do they call them? A variety of phenomena
Yes.
types?
Yes, but you see, so many of the psychics have come and gone. I mean, I've done this all my life, and you know that. I've done this all my life, like you've done. You've been before the public all of your life. And there's people who come and go. But you and I still watch them go.
We watch them go up and
watch them go.
Right.
We're still here.
Right.
Looking better than ever.
But explain this, like automatic writing.
Yes.
You do that.
Oh,
What
sure.
is that?
Sure. All right, I want to ask your audience watching, all they have to do is get a legal-sized pad, and a red felt pen, and just do it the same time, every night, and just sit there and let the pen take over, and a loved one of yours from the other side will eventually come in, but you must believe. My whole motto is only believe. All things are possible if you only believe.
So automatic writing, what do you write? Just what comes to your mind?
Messages. No. Oh, no. You never use your mind.
Oh, you
See, I
don't?
can do my private readings. I can do 5, 6, 7 readings. And then late at night, come to do another show with you.
Oh, I see.
It doesn't tire me out.
You don't use your mind, but what's
no.
coming out of your pencil?
A spirit. A
So
spirit is
whatever-
writing through
I
you.
see, okay.
A spirit is writing
So
through
that's automatic writing.
That's automatic writing.
Okay, what about reading auras? You do that.
Oh, sure.
What is
Sure.
it? Tell us.
All right. An aura basically is how you are spiritually, physically, mentally today. I watch you now, right now, at this precise moment. You have a very blue, very light blue aura, which means I don't care, this may ruin your reputation, but you're a very spiritual girl. Well, in addition to being very social-minded, having a lot of fun, love dancing, love people, etc., you basically, I will guarantee you, have never hurt a person intentionally. That's what tells me with your aura.
But you can see that?
I trust you. I would lay my money down here, leave, and come back and find my money here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to hurt anyone intentionally. And I am spiritual.
I know you are.
Because I asked you about that. I
Yes.
said, is this against religious beliefs?
Oh, it is a religion. It's spiritualism.
So explain that.
Of course, it's a
Yeah.
religion. I mean, I'm Catholic. I'm a devout Roman Catholic. But that doesn't mean that I can't also embrace another religion, which makes me a better Catholic. People don't understand that, but they do.
That's why I wanted to know. Then you also...
I wrote the book for that reason.
I want to talk about the book
I
too,
know.
because I know you've written a lot of 3 books.
Four.
4 books.
My fourth.
So you have past lives you use for readings, right?
Oh, sure. But not necessarily. You mean when people come to
I
me?
guess it says like reading auras. Does it come with past lives or
No, no.
soulmates or what?
Oh,
Soulmates. I'm trying to figure that out.
soulmates. All right. All right. Who's a soulmate? My darling friend Nancy Reagan and the president are soulmates.
Oh, I
Who's
see.
a soulmate? I don't care what people think about this, but Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, not Antonio Banderas.
They're soulmates.
Soulmates.
But do you read that in them? Is
Oh,
that
yes,
how
we
you do?
did. By their aura.
I
Who's
see.
also
Oh,
a
I see.
soulmate. Are you ready for this? Who definitely belong together. Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles.
They're soulmates.
They belong together, absolutely. No question
But
about
that's part of the aura you're reading?
it. Yes.
I see. I understand.
And you know, being the psychic to part of the royal family, never to Princess Diana, but that was an accidental situation. Let's get that straightened out on the Joan Quinn show. That was an because I spent too much time, as you know, at the Ritz Hotel, where it was her last
Right, where it
spot.
happened,
Exactly. And it was a mistake. That was always an accident.
What happened to her,
No
you mean?
conspiracy, of course. Of course.
But do you still speak to her? Where I still
Of course.
talk to?
And I'm not going to give it away, but somebody who you've admired, I know that. And I don't know you that well, but I know you admired this person. And she greeted Princess Di on the other side.
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
There's a wonderful story also about Jim Morrison for young people. They'll be shocked. Also, the one, you know, I'll be in a restaurant, I'll be in a theater lobby, wherever I go, people will come up to me and say, Kenny, I read your book, it's fabulous. It was written by my ghostwriter, my darling Valerie Porter. All right, who
She's
you know.
great, yeah.
Absolutely great. We've been together 21 years, that'll tell you that. Anyway, when we didn't expect to do, we were down in Ventura late at night, and there was a group of us, and we brought back Adolf Hitler.
Oh, right. We were talking about that.
That's right. Now, people coming up to me will say, I'm fascinated by the fact that James Dean, he wasn't driving the car. But you'll have to read the book to find out
Okay,
who
we'll
was.
read it, right.
But I'm going to tell you this, sweet spirit, and that is that, again, the most intriguing one in the book to young people, middle-aged,
Jim-
is Adolf Hitler.
Oh, right.
They're
Because he was
fascinated
right.
about him.
Because they want to know what happened to him at the end. Nobody really knows.
I do.
Oh, you do.
Of course.
But you know, it's that kind of
Oh,
conjecture.
of course. He lived till he passed away in Austria. He passed away in Austria, working as an accountant.
Now-
Eva.
Oh.
Yes, Eva Braun passed away not too long ago, and she was helped by a lady I'm sure you admired. And she had a complete face job. She was completely cured from her big C. And oh, by the way, in this book, my darling, it tells that you cannot, well, what you wear on the other side. It tells you what people are wearing on the other side.
does.
Yes. It tells you what kind of homes they live in. Is the pain that they had in this life, is it gone? It also tells us what color candles to burn. And I swear to you, on a stack of Bibles, if you follow those candles, if you follow those candles, you will get what you want if the spirit world thinks it's right for you.
But you have to, I really think you have to have that belief in the in another power, right?
Absolutely, no question about
Well,
that.
before we, one of the things that I want to ask you is there a difference between a psychic, a clairvoyant, a fortune teller? Are they all the same kind of things?
Well,
people?
Well, when I was a little boy, I was called a sassy little boy because I was a fortune teller in those days. That's what they called us.
Oh,
then we went
I
on to be
see.
called clairvoyant. That means
I
we
see.
can see spirits. All
I
right.
see.
But of all the television shows I've ever done in the world, you know perfectly well that I did 77 Merv Griffin shows. Now you're going to say, that's a lot of shows to do.
Right.
That's right, and you know why? I know why. Merv learned to enjoy what I was doing because of all the mail we got. But he booked me on that show 77 times only because he introduced me as the world's most famous physic. And with this, he got the big laugh, and I got another booking. Then Flip Wilson and I've only had two managers in my life. Peter Schlesinger, who's now over at KCOP, one of the executives, and Flip Wilson. Nobody knows that, but Flip was my manager for years and years and years.
So you were lucky because he was really terrific.
And he needed a sidekick, yes, and we saved his life.
We have to go.
Where are we going?
We're leaving. Well, we're going to go together. But before we leave, really fast,
Yes.
if you talk to people in another language, in Spanish or French, do they talk back in the same language?
In one language, that's all.
Okay.
One language, that's all.
So you can understand. You're international, so you can speak the same language everywhere?
Absolutely. It's universal.
Okay.
It is universal. My book, I Still Talk To, is in all the stores.
Tell us the other book.
Oh, the other books, of course, my first book was Sweet Spirits,
Right.
which totally sold out throughout the world, and now it's a collector's item.
Uh-huh.
Then I did another book called Kenny Kingston's Guide to Health and Happiness #1, and Kenny Kingston's Guide to Health and Happiness #2, and then I Still Talk To.
And they're playing our music, and we have to leave.
It is our music, isn't it, darling?
Thank you, Kenny.
What a joy.
Keep writing to us, and if you want to know about his he has a website, write to me, and I'll tell you all where to find it at 777 South Figueroa, 40th floor, Los Angeles, 917. And thanks for being with us on the Joan Quinn Profiles.